And Happy New Year to anybody celebrating the Lunar New Year. The Year of the Tiger, let's get it. One thing I want to talk about today is one of the little known aspects of podcast guesting that business people overlook. That is one of the most powerful things. It's one of the biggest benefits you can be getting from podcast guesting if you're doing it strategically and if you have this on your radar, and that is the value of networking. Now, what brought this back to me was I was just recently on this really powerful call with Ms. Tandra Price, who is the networking ninja. She's all over on LinkedIn, and her whole thing is helping people build their network. And there is that saying, your network is your net worth. It's an important thing for your business, for your growth. You're the average of the people you spend time with. And that is something that is just so often not even occurring to people when they're doing this podcast guesting. This is an enormous opportunity for networking. You are growing your networking. When every show that you're on, you are connecting with that show's host, and by extension, with their network. This is a relationship building opportunity. This is expanding your empire, and that's also goes back to why we need to be very strategic about what shows we go on. They have to be right for us, and part of that is that a network that it is beneficial for me to be part of, and can I be contributing to their network? Is this a good step in my growth plan? And being on someone's podcast, being that amazing podcast guest, is part of that networking growth. Because as I've said in one of my blog posts that I'll put a link in down below, there's a special relationship. If you're doing podcast guesting right and you're on somebody's show and you do such a great job on the show and help them co-create this amazing episode that they love, their audience loved, they had a great time, they were spending time with you. That is one of the most intense ways to really get to know a business associate. And they're having to relook at that podcast episode again and again. So they are really connecting with you. That is the start of a relationship. There's a whole bunch of things that you need to be doing to grow that relationship and that new connection within your network, but also to help them make your episode as successful as possible. And well, all of those things get covered in my guide that is all about the 5 steps you have to take for successful podcast guesting. But overall, one of the net benefits, as I said, that a lot of people don't think about is the value to your networking. This is something that cannot be overlooked. Growing your network opens doors, is going to put opportunities in your way later this year and going on into the future. You have no idea what lies in store for you when you strategically build your network through podcast guesting. Now that's something that I'm going to be talking more about. I'm going to be doing a live 3-day event, and the next one is February 15th to the 17th. And this live event is a 3-day live hands-on training called Podcast Guesting Prep School. And in Prep School, we're going to look at the most powerful thing, day 1, how other people are successfully using podcast guesting to, amongst other things, grow their network, powerfully grow their network in a way that benefits them and their business. But all kinds of other things that people are achieving with podcast guesting. And then from that, when we see what's achievable, what the really successful people just like you, but who have got a strategy and a plan for their podcast guesting, not just randomly going on the odd show and hoping that it makes a difference. That's not going to move the needle. Once you see some of these examples of the complex, innovative, creative things that people are achieving with podcast guesting, day 2 is all about how do we pull some of those things together to best work for your business. And day 3 is, once we've got that vision and the clarity, day 3 is direction. Where are you going to go with this? And how can you really get started powerfully? And of course, that direction is the foundation of your media plan, with podcast guesting at the base of it. As I said, networking. I'm going to be talking with Tandra Price later this month. I believe it's February the 20th. We're going to be doing a LinkedIn Live with her all about how podcast guesting is kind of a secret, often overlooked weapon that you should be using to grow your network, along with all the other benefits that you're going to get from podcast guesting. So check out the link below for the Podcast Guesting Prep School, and stay tuned because Tandra and I are going to be putting out a live that's then going to be turned into a podcast on her show, all very meta, to tell you more about how you can be using podcast guesting to grow your business and grow your network. And that's it for today. I'm September Smith. You should be in podcast guesting prep school. Let's break through in 2022.